Welcome back to Griff Guide Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Griffin. Today we have Kyara Glinski joining us. She's one of my employees and new to the trade. Kyara, thanks for being on the show. You're like sixth or seventh person on the show now, so that's pretty cool. Thanks for joining me.
Of course.
So Kyara, give me a little bit of backstory, like where you grew up. Did you go to a tech school? Did you go to a regular high school? Did you ever think you'd land yourself in the trades? Like what? Just give me a small backstory.
Okay, so I grew up in Danvers, and then I moved to Linfield. So I mainly grew up in Linfields. I went to Essex Tech for high school, and I went there for 2 years. I was in electrical. So yes, I did think I was going to be in a trade because I went to tech school, but I was also in like man trade.
Well, you are now though.
Yeah, I was. And then I went back to Linfield High School for 2 years, like to finish out junior and senior year. And because my mom wanted me to go to college, I went to college at Salem State. Didn't work out too.
What'd you go to college for?
Oh, I just went for business. I didn't even really have a major.
Okay, so you just kind of were like, all right, Mom, you want me to go to college? I'll
Gonna
go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I went there. Did not work out.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for like a year and like a few months. And then I was done with that. I worked at a restaurant when I was in college. And then I continued and I stayed at that restaurant. And then one day, Jeff came in and he sat down with his wife, and I was serving them. And he was like, "Oh, you're so nice. Like, we're having a Christmas party here." And he was joking about giving me a job. And I was like, "Oh, that's so funny. Ha ha ha," whatever. And then they had the Christmas party. They wanted me to do it. I did the Christmas party. And they said, "Again, you want a job?" And I was like, "Sure." Like, I just didn't really think it was real.
We had to keep badgering you about getting you to come work for us. That's why I would just randomly stop in and be like, all right, what's the deal? What do you want to do?
Like, I don't know. I didn't think they were serious. Yes, they were offering me a job, but I wasn't like, I was working at a restaurant. I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm going to go work for this plumbing company. And then I gave Jeremy my number, called him, and then I got an interview and then got the job.
It's funny how that works because most of the people that work for us, as you know, don't really have trade background, or a lot of them don't have trade, or a lot of them don't have specifically plumbing HVAC trade. Like a lot of them are landscapers, roofers, fucking chefs. Like we're all over the map.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, when we go to hire somebody, we like to try to pick somebody that is a hustler that has good character, and that's what we look for. We don't really care about whether or not you know anything about plumbing. We'd prefer you don't. That's the whole part. That's the reason why we're like, all right, let's hire this girl. We can train her. And look at now, you know how to do stuff, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. But so what was it like going to Essex Tech? And obviously electrical is not as much of a male-dominated trade as plumbing and HVAC are, but what was it like? Did you have a good experience? Did you actually enjoy being in that shop?
I liked it when I was in it, but I couldn't see myself.
Okay.
I was going to ride it out through high school, like if I stayed there, but I wasn't seeing myself like pursuing it after high school.
Okay, so it just wasn't really like a good, like it wasn't a passion. You were like, all right, This is whatever. Like it's not that cool.
Yeah, I liked it, but it wasn't something I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to do it every single day for the rest of my life.
Pulling wires sucks.
Yeah, it was all right. And I think I was good at the electrical part. I was having a hard time with like the learning part of it, like the book.
Yeah, it's too complicated.
There was a lot of things that I wasn't understanding.
Yeah.
And when you don't understand it, you don't want to do it.
Yeah, it's true. You just get frustrated and you're like, this, I don't want any part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. But I liked school a lot, but my mom really wanted me to go to college because she never did. So she really wanted me to go, and she said, like, you would have a better opportunity going from Linfield High than going from Essex Tech. Because some people go to college from there, but, like, not a lot.
I don't know though, because like so
they have been more often.
Yeah, there definitely is, because my graduating class, we had kids like go to Ivy League schools.
Yeah, like some of them, they definitely, there is more than there used to be.
Yeah. It's not like when our parents were kids, and if you went to a tech school, you're a degenerate.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's
that was
not
like
like
a school that like people, like if you weren't succeeding in high school, regular high school,
they just
you went
kicked
there.
you out. Yeah.
Yes, but it's very different now, and I think that a lot of people will have this background of whatever trade they're in, and then they go to college and then use their college experience or use their trade background in whatever they want to do in the future.
Yeah. I think either way, just going to a trade school, it's going to push you along further in life anyway, because you're learning all these, like, even if you just you're going through your exploratories, like, a lot of people didn't know how to change a tire.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay, you don't know how to do that. That's fine. But if I told you to, like, if I was like, hey, Kyara, can you put an electrical box on that stud and like run a wire to it? You could probably do it, right?
Probably.
Yeah, see? So even though you're not doing electrical, you can still say that, like, hey, I did learn something valuable there.
Yeah. Like, I know a bunch of my friends that did electrical and they don't do it now. There's only like 3 of my graduating class that does it now.
So I heard when I was at tech school, most of the kids I graduated with ended up in the plumbing field, but I did hear, like, more recently, there's a lot of kids that'll just go to tech school just to like see if they want to do it for, they'll go in, they'll do the whatever shop they pick for 4 years, and then they might decide to do something else. Like a couple of my buddies that graduated 2 or 3 years after me, they said the same thing. They're like, yeah, probably just a handful of kids still do it. The rest of them jumped out, went to college, did whatever they were going to do.
Yeah.
So
I know one of them owns a business. One of them's dad's an electrician.
Yeah.
And then one of them just works for a company still.
Oh, okay.
And that's literally it.
No kidding, just 3 of them. Wow.
Yeah. And there was like 15 people in my class. There was actually 9 girls in my electrical graduate.
Get out of here, really?
Not 9 of them graduated.
Yeah, but
like
to start, there was 9 of you.
Start of a freshman year, there was 9 of us.
So you can't even say it was male dominated at that point. It was very much the opposite.
Yeah.
No kidding.
That was mainly the shop, like the male dominated shop that women were in, like the most women were in.
Yeah.
Or landscape. Those are the only 2.
Landscape.
Was
it like masonry, or is it actually just legit landscape?
No, it's legit landscape. But
okay.
It was because that's like our when you come from out of like the district.
Yeah.
Like if you went there because you live in North Reading,
you
would have to only take an agricultural shop.
Right.
And that's an agricultural shop.
Oh, okay.
So if you didn't want to do something with animals, plants, or things like that, that's what you would do.
I would have just rode horses.
Yeah.
That's all I want. I just would have been like, can I sign up to be a cowboy? That's what I want to do.
Well, you could have done equine. I tried that for a week. Not my thing.
No,
I like horses, but not my thing.
I mean, I like horses too, but I don't know if I'd want to learn how to take care of them.
And they all reeked.
Yeah, you have to get, but you know what? Not for nothing, our trade also doesn't smell the best.
Okay, but
depends on what you're working on, though.
Like horse shit all the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would make sense. You are around horses all day.
Yeah, it was bad.
Okay, fair enough. So horses and Kyara, not a thing.
No.
Good to know. So wow, so you had 9 girls in your shop to start. That's crazy. So I've never heard that before. When I was in high school, we had, usually it was maybe like 2 in each male dominated trade. You'd have a couple girls. I think the graduating class below me in plumbing had 4, which was a really surprising number. And one of them actually still does it. She's an absolute animal. But yeah, no, that 9. That's pretty wild.
And 3 graduated.
Oh.
And one of them does electrical.
Well, still, that's still pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, one of them, her dad owns an electrical company. So when she's done with college, I assume she'll work there.
And she'll probably take it over.
Yeah. Like when he's like done with it. But she's wicked smart, like wicked school smart anyways. Yeah. So she went to college. And then the other one is an EMT, which is actually my best friend. And she's trying to be a firefighter.
Nice.
And the other one, she works for the electrical union.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
EMT though, that's I feel like being your mom's a firefighter, right? I feel like that's even harder to get into as a woman than the
Yeah.
trades.
It
Like a
was
lot
tough.
harder.
It was tough because in a lot of towns, you'll have to be an EMT first.
Yeah.
And then you can be a firefighter.
Yeah.
I don't know if it specifies for all towns.
No, I'm pretty sure that's how it works now.
Yeah, so my mom had to become certified as an EMT.
Was she a paramedic too before?
Yeah.
Okay, and then they were like, all right, you're a paramedic now. Now we can like really take
now
you
you
on.
can train for a firefighter. And then my best friend, she just got accepted into be a firefighter.
So is she going to the academy now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm going down there in a couple weeks to take a test. So
in Stowe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my mom graduated from.
Yep.
I remember that.
Jeff went there too.
Yeah, and Josh, right?
No. Jeff actually went to their school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So when he worked for National Grid, because of the stuff that he worked on at National Grid, he had to be trained as like a fireman.
As a firefighter?
Yeah.
Just to be safe.
So like he knows like how to do all the same stuff. He knows the science behind it, all that. Yeah, pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I know, it was weird.
He could just be a firefighter now too.
Firefighter Jeff, yeah. When we were kids, I remember we were fishing at a pond in Saugus, and there was these kids lighting off fireworks behind us in the woods, and they caught the woods on fire. And
Jeff ran to the rescue.
Jeff jumps in the firemen roll in with the truck.
He's like, I can help.
They drop the hose on the ground, and he just grabs the hose and starts dragging it up the hill.
Yeah,
me and Josh are sitting there just like, what is he doing?
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, Jeff is technically trained to be a fireman. But yeah, that's cool that did your friend go to a specific department to get on, or how did that? Like, where is she getting on?
She lives in Peabody.
So is she going to be on Peabody Fire?
So she wanted to, like, you have to live in Peabody because Peabody is, I'm pretty sure, an on-call position.
Yep.
So you have to live a certain distance from, they have 4 fire stations, I believe, though.
Yeah.
So they have a lot.
It's a big city.
So you have to live within a certain radius of miles to actually work there.
Oh, no kidding.
Like, if you didn't live that close, you can't work there. Like, when my mom became one, we had to live within a mile, I believe.
Oh, so that's why you guys moved?
No. So we moved before.
Oh, okay.
Because my stepdad grew up in Linfields.
Yeah.
And he always wanted to move back to Linfields.
Okay.
And then a few years after we moved, that's when she was like, I want to become a firefighter.
Oh, no kidding. So she didn't always do that.
No, she worked with my grandfather.
Right. Yeah. Small backstory. Let's backtrack a little bit. So we didn't know when we hired Kyara that her grandfather had been we had been subcontracting her grandfather to work for us for the last 25 years. So her grandfather owns a chimney company. He does liners. We always had him do our liners when we did boilers. And we had no idea. We never put 2 and 2 together until you showed up and did, I think it was like the final interview you were on. And you were like, oh, yeah, my grandfather does chimneys. And we were like, who's your grandfather? You're like, oh, John Croto, Boxford Chimney. And we were just like, oh.
Yep.
Yeah. Small world.
Very small world.
Very small world. Yep.
Yeah. So my mom used to work for him. And I think that's why I was so, like, ready to do a trade that was, like, not normal for me.
Yeah.
Because that's, like, what I grew up with. My mom would always come home dirty. My mom would always come home late. She would always leave early.
Right.
That's just how my life was. So I'm so used to seeing her like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that's normal.
You just have to work hard.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
I've always had a crazy work ethic. Like, I work all the time. My mom does the exact same thing. Like, we're all workaholics. We just love to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's definitely why I was certainly okay with being a plumber.
Yeah, it makes sense. I remember being a little kid and watching your mom and aunt do chimney liners.
Yeah,
like little guy.
Two blonde girls on the top of a roof.
Yeah, it was the craziest. I didn't even like, it didn't strike me as weird because I was so little. But now looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, I would be I'd be like, what are they doing? Why are there women up on the roof? What is happening?
It's great. Everyone would, like, say something when my mom was there, but then, like, she basically, like, owned the business with my grandfather when she was there, and everyone would be like, who is this lady?
Yeah.
And then she would go do it herself. Like, my grandfather would leave, she'd go do it herself, and they'd be like, wow.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chimney liners are not easy too. That's what a lot of people don't know, that chimneys even need to be lined. But then you talk about climbing on a roof and wrestling with this giant friggin' aluminum or stainless steel liner, and it's just like you're up there by yourself, standing on the pitch of the roof, trying to wrestle this thing by yourself out of a box and getting it down the chimney by yourself. Like, I have a hard time doing that, and I'm a big man. Like, I can't imagine. Your mom's probably the same size as you, right?
She's actually really muscular.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, overall size-wise, you don't have as much weight to move around.
No, I'm telling you, she's big.
Well, she has to be. I mean, she's a firefighter, so she has to be able to pick me up and carry me out of a burning building.
Yeah, she probably could.
Yeah, see?
She's only like 5'4", though, so she is pretty short. So we're like around the same size, but she's got me beat on the muscles for sure.
I bet. Yeah. You got to be strong to do that stuff. Even carrying like the hoses and stuff during a fire, way harder than anything we do. Mm-hmm. Like plumbing overall, you don't know because you just got introduced to it, but like it has gotten dumbed down so badly over the last probably 20 years. So since I started, we went from doing like lead newcomer cast iron, and then they took that away and said, no, you don't need to do that anymore. And now they're starting to really push the shit out of PVC. But like when I started, that was like all the old timers that were retiring and phasing out. All they did their entire career was heavy cast iron, chisels, lead, like the whole thing. And that shit sucked. It was just super duper heavy work. Now it's just become
non-existent because I haven't even seen it.
Right, you haven't seen it once. I had to take JT and Jeff here actually we did a flange in the bathroom that was cast iron, and I showed them how to pack and pour it, but they were like, what are you doing? And
never seen it.
Yeah, no, I know.
And I like probably won't see it anytime soon.
You probably won't. I mean, even in commercial buildings, very rarely do they do it. Like when I was in the union, here and there, it was probably like every few jobs we'd be like, oh, okay, we're melting lead, we're doing all this stuff. Like I worked on one job particularly. It was, the State Street building in Boston? Okay, well, one of the
No.
I think it was 54 State Street. It's a big glass building. So they had all their roof drains hooked up to running traps is what they call them. So all of the roof drains and the storm water dumps into the sewer. It's a combination storm and sewer. Mm-hmm. So they had to have traps to keep the sewer gas from entering the building. So what they would do is they had these big things called running traps. Now, when you have a building that's that big, that's 50 stories or 40 stories, I think it was like 40 stories, that's a lot of rainwater. So I'm like freshly 18 years old, and they're like, hey, we're putting in this running trap. And I'm like, what the fuck is a running trap? It's this big giant U, but the one we installed was 15-inch.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So when we got it prepped, we had it hanging off of a forklift, and I'm sitting there with a...
Like 15-inch like this?
Yeah, like 15-inch diameter pipe. Like you could crawl inside it.
Yeah, that's big.
It's huge. So
that's really big.
They had us, it was up on a forklift, and they had me packing and pouring these joints, and I was using a legit pot to pour it. So I'd pour like 25 pounds of liquid lead into each joint as we were going.
But I can't even imagine that right now.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. You guys are never going to get to see crazy shit like that. This is a different world. Everything's changed. Even ProPress had just started to come on the scene when I was getting in the union.
When I was in high school, we didn't even...
Yeah, you guys probably never even saw it.
Never. No. Because I did plumbing for a week and we didn't...
Yeah, they did. And I'm sure you probably didn't even see the fitting. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's how it was for the longest time. We do all these big jobs. Like it was two backflows. So 2-inch, I think they were 2-inch, two 2-inch backflows on this big piece of unistrut, and then a mixing valve for a dialysis clinic. And it was all soldered 2-inch. We didn't ProPress anything. So they had me sitting there at the shop prefabbing the thing, soldering all the joints, pressure testing it, the whole bit. But yeah, it's definitely gotten a lot easier in the last couple of years.
Good and bad, I guess.
Yeah, I mean...
Some people can't teach an old dog new tricks, so some people will never get behind these new things.
Oh, that's true.
But can be good, can be good. I mean, can be bad because you could be running into issues later saying, oh, this wasn't good. Like, you should have tested this more or whatever.
Yeah, it's just the technology, and as it evolves, we need to learn it. But that's even like, going back to like the chimney thing, we don't really use a lot of boilers now that vent into chimneys. Everything's high efficient, and there's plenty of old timers out there that are like, I'll never install one of those.
Yeah.
That's just how the trade goes. All the old guys are scared to death of new technology, but
yeah, because they know what they know and they like what they like.
Exactly. But it's good for us and it's good for you because you're learning everything.
Yeah, because you can learn both. You can learn the old, you can learn the new.
Yeah, you want to be able to learn everything too. It makes you more valuable and it makes you more well-rounded.
Yeah.
You know? So what's your experience been like? You've been with us since what? March? February?
February.
Okay. So we're creeping up on a year now. We're almost there.
Almost there.
What's your experience been?
It's good. I like it. It's definitely not what I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at all.
What was your expectation going into it then?
Shit toilets.
Really?
Yeah.
The whole time?
Yeah.
That's what you thought you were going to be doing?
Yeah.
No kidding.
And, like, I was okay with it.
You were ready for it.
I was ready for it.
That's wild.
But I really thought that was what it was, like, clogged toilets, clogged drain. Like, I don't know, because I didn't associate plumbing with heating.
Right.
Also, because in school, that's not how it is.
Right.
It was plumbing and then you have heating.
Right. They don't yeah.
You don't teach both at the same time. So I was expecting just plumbing, and plumbing to me, as like not knowing something, would be like drains.
Like drain cleaning.
Drain cleaning, anything to do with drains or like clogs or the bathroom. Like that's
which
really
now you know is very much outside of our wheelhouse for the most part.
For sure, because I think I've unclogged like 2 things.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah, you just call a drain cleaner for that.
Yeah.
Completely separate trade. Yeah. Altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Altogether.
Oh. So other than that, like going into it being like, okay, this is like going to be nasty. I don't think I've gone home a day and been disgusting. I actually have got splashed with shit one time, and that was not fun. But that was one time out of in like almost 10-month period.
That's not bad.
So that's a good ratio.
I'm okay
absolutely.
With that ratio. That's a great ratio.
And like, yeah, my hands get dirty. I get a little dirty, but nothing like disgusting.
It's not gross. You're just getting covered in like grease and like
just like dirt,
metal.
Yeah, it's nothing. Not what I thought it was going to be at all. So that's good. Because I wasn't so sure if I would love it if I was getting covered in shit all day.
I can't say I blame you. That's, I mean, part of the reason why I didn't really like being in the union is because when they called and said, hey, we have to replace all these drains in this building, it very much is what it sounds like. We would be cutting out, and it wasn't like building, it was like building.
Yeah.
Big work. So we'd go into a building in Harvard and we'd be cutting out old waistlines, and there'd be fucking 3 million cockroaches rolling out of that thing. And I'm sitting there with a can of Raid and a torch trying to like keep them back.
Yeah, that I can't.
Right.
One thing I can't get behind in this job is the spiders. Oh my God.
Specifically spiders or like all bugs?
Mostly spiders.
Really?
Because I'm afraid of them. And, like, I hate them.
Okay.
Like, bugs, yes, like, they freak me out. But, like, when we go into people's basements and there's just spiders and spider webs, like, I hate the feeling of a spider web on me. If I just walked through one, I'm, like, itching for the next 10 minutes. I hate them. I hate them.
You should carry a broom with you next time you go.
No, I usually use the Navian screwdriver.
There you go.
Yeah,
you just make like a big cotton candy wand.
Yeah, that's it. That's one thing I just cannot get behind.
That's pretty good though. If that's the only thing that bothers you on the job, that's not bad at all.
Well, one other thing is some things are like beyond my strength. Not the strongest. I could get stronger.
Yeah, but what do you find is the biggest struggle when you're in there and you're like, okay, I don't have the weight.
A toilet.
You sent me the thing.
Okay, so I
have to order that.
I sent Jeremy this thing because when you do a
toilet. What do they call that?
Toilet picker-upper.
Toilet caddy? Was it a toilet caddy?
I don't know.
Max, can we pull that up? I want to see this thing.
Because I saw him this thing on Instagram. And it basically just lifts the toilet up for you and sets it for you. And I physically cannot install a toilet because I'm too short. So like the way they
You
do the toilet is
pick it up, right?
they're straddling it, and I'm too short where I can't lift. I can physically lift a toilet,
No, I don't
but I
think you're
can't
gonna
like
find
lift
it.
it.
It's to install a toilet.
I can't like go over it and lift it and then put it down because I don't have enough leg room. I have short legs. So I sent this thing to Jeremy on Instagram because it was like literally a toilet picker upper, and it does it for you, and it was so funny.
Yeah, you're vertically challenged. It doesn't help.
Yeah, so that doesn't help like at all.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's it.
The jack. Yeah, no, that's it.
That's literally it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it did work. But yeah, that basically that jack right there. Yeah, so that's it. So that toilet jack is, I mean, dude, it's basically just a motorcycle jack that can pick up a toilet, but that acts as your legs.
Yes, because it's like literally physically impossible for me to do it, which sucks because I wish I can do everything else you need to do on a toilet, but I can't like pick it up and put it down, which is annoying. See, isn't that thing convenient looking?
Yeah, it actually is. When you sent it to me, I forget what I was doing because it was like outside of work hours or I was away on vacation. And
I think you were away in like Wyoming or something.
Yeah, and I looked at it and I was like, we need that. I'll get to it. I have to order it now.
No, it just wasn't. It was kind of like a joke, but like would be nice to have to try.
I think it'd be nice to have.
Oh, if you had one of those laying around in the shop.
Yeah, it's going to save your back too, though. You forget, like, you can't lift a toilet. You're lucky you can't.
I can.
No, but you can't set one.
Yes.
Setting one sucks because
you're hunched over.
Yeah. And it just doesn't, like, that's my biggest pet peeve are dishwashers and setting toilets.
Everyone says dishwashers.
Dishwashers suck. They absolutely suck.
I did one the other day.
It wasn't bad?
Took us like less than an hour.
Okay.
It was so easy.
You haven't gotten a bad dishwasher yet. They've also changed them recently. So they used to not be as easy. And you can ask Kyle, ask anybody.
It was so easy. Like the hardest part was the electrical and Kyle did it.
Yeah, but the dishwashers now are just they're 10 times easier than they were. I've literally gone into houses before where like there's a gap in the floor and you have to like lower the legs and then drop the legs and like it's
Yeah, I've done one other one that was like a little difficult cuz like the cabinets weren't straight.
Mm-hmm.
So the cabinets were off, so then the dishwasher was off and the dishwasher like looked funky.
Yeah.
But we were like there's nothing we can do and they're like that's fine. So like that was like the hardest one.
So you have ran into that, but like dude, I've gotten
nothing hard.
No, I've gotten stuck on some dishwashers before where it's like you're there for like 3 hours.
Yeah, no.
Like you can't get behind it. It won't go back all the way. They're sitting there complaining to you about how they don't like how it looks, even though you can't control it, but they think you can. Yeah, it's just sometimes you get caught on those. That's why we say they suck, because when you get a bad one, you'll know. Eventually you will get a bad one. You're going to come to me and you're going to be like, I hate dishwashers today.
Yeah.
And I will for the foreseeable future. It happens. They suck. I would rather do anything else in the trade. I would rather tear my fucking bicep off my arm than do another dishwasher.
Okay, I didn't think it was that bad.
Sometimes they are that bad. I've had ones before where I'm like, just give me a gun. I'm done. No, seriously. I had one time I was with what was I doing? We were doing a bunch of stuff in the house, but I was working on a dishwasher, and I had Carmen, the electrician, come inside, and he could see that I was visibly very frustrated at the day and what was going on. And you've talked to Carmen a couple times right now. He's got the old Italian man accent, and he goes, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Great, Carmen." And he's like, "Can I get you anything? A coffee? Maybe a gun?" That absolutely lit me up that day. I was like, all right, this dishwasher's not going to kill me. It's going to be okay. But yeah,
at the end of the day, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, well, try. When you're in the moment and you're in it, you don't think so. No, you never think so. No, I think that's the biggest, most frustrating part about the trade is when you get caught in something and you can't get out of it and you keep trying and trying. Yeah.
I've seen that because every single person that I've worked with, they've gotten stuck on like one thing and I can tell that they're visibly getting upset.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, right. You don't know what to do. You're just standing there like,
do you want something? Like,
tools?
I don't know what to do
Here's
for you.
some tools. Can I get you a bag? Here's a water.
Yeah, like I literally don't know what to do.
At that point, you just got to sit back and be like, all right, they have everything. It just be you just got to like cheerlead and be like, hey, we got this. Okay. We're going to get through this.
Jared's favorite thing was to play when we were in a bad mood, something wasn't working. Don't worry, be happy. That song was on repeat in our truck.
I bet.
And in customers' houses if it wasn't working.
Oh, geez.
That song was our favorite song.
Well, that's a good attitude to have if you have a positive outlook, even when shit's terrible.
Yeah, it was perfect. It fit the moment.
No, absolutely. So you like it overall, other than the fact that you can't set a toilet?
Yes.
Not bad.
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part?
I kind of I like when we go into like people's houses and then they'll be like, oh, like I can't do this, or like I've hired somebody to do this, and then we do it.
Oh, like we're coming back to fix somebody else's mistakes, or they kept getting
their mistake.
Yeah.
Or like a repeat issue and then we finally fix it. Because then it's like, I've felt that feeling before, maybe not in plumbing.
Yeah.
But everyone has felt that feeling. And you just like, you're like, oh my God, this like keeps happening. And then someone is like, oh, here's this solution. And then you're like, oh my God, thank God.
You like being the problem solver.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It feels good to be a problem solver.
Yeah. I feel like that that attitude definitely reflects in the rest of your life, though. Once you become a problem solver like that, you want to fucking fix everything. You're like, oh, broken person, I can fix you.
That's me. It's so bad. That's me.
Yeah, I had to do a very good job of not doing that. Because you just get wrapped up in too much bullshit. You have to just be like, all right, I can't. Let me just do my repairs at work. Let me fix things at work and leave it at work.
No, that's like what I go for. I find like this person that's like distraught and I'm like, oh my God, I can fix you. I can fix you. And then they end up breaking me. And I'm like, oh, geez, I got to fix myself. Then I got to fix somebody else. That's
We're always making repairs.
Yep.
Always making repairs. It's funny how that works. What's it like? So you've been in school for what, a month now, roughly? 2 months?
Around a month.
Yeah.
2 months.
What's that been like?
It's all right. I've never been a big school fan. Been pretty smart, but like not like I can't sit down for a long time and like learn.
Are you the only female in the class?
Yes.
Is there any other females in any of the other classes?
I've seen one other girl.
Okay.
In I think it's like tier 3.
Okay.
Plumbing tier 3. And then I saw one girl in the electrical, I believe she was.
No kidding.
But other than that, I really haven't seen anybody
few and far
else.
between.
Yeah. And like it's definitely, well, no one in my class does their homework and I'm the only one, and then my teacher puts it on the screen and then everyone knows it's me. So it's kind of like, oh, like I'm already the only girl, like I'm already only singled out, and then
yeah, but you're applying yourself. Fuck them.
I know, but
it doesn't matter. You're gonna be more successful than them because you're applying yourself.
I know, but like I hate being like that because then I look like a kiss ass, which I'm not.
I would disagree.
I'm not. Like I'm doing my homework.
They're asking you to do the homework and hand it in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just completing the assignment. That's the same way if I tell you to go in and do a maintenance on a boiler, you're not going to just look at me and go, okay, and then not do it.
I know, but like, it's a little embarrassing.
I guess, but it is part of the whole thing. Like,
I know.
You know
and
what?
Then my teacher, he'll always say something like, hey guys, and then he'll be like, oh, and lady, every single time. And I'm like, everyone already considers me with the guys, so like you don't have to do all that. Like that's too much. Just it's fine. I'd rather not.
See, but this is the whole part of being a woman in a male dominated trade. That kind of shit, like you're just like, all right, you don't have to do that. You don't have to single me out. It's fine.
Yeah, I'd rather you not. Like that's I already feel singled out, like I'm the only girl.
Yeah.
And then you're doing that. Like you don't have to do that. Like he'll say it every time.
That's annoying.
I'm like, okay.
It all depends on the teacher you have too, though. You know what I mean?
I'm sure like some of the other ones won't care.
They're
like,
not going to give a shit. They're just going to be like, we're here to learn. A lot of the like upper tier teachers are just going to be like, yep, we're here to learn plumbing. And that's what you're going to do. And you're just going to sit there and you're going to learn plumbing. I would say though, with like the private or the night school, the tech schools is definitely not as in depth as I would like to see it, which is a problem that I have. But you go to like union schools and you would be just like everybody else. Everybody does their homework.
Yeah.
It's completely different. I just feel like there's less of an expectation with the, night school, trade school, stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't really learned much.
Really?
Like at all.
You're also tier 1 too.
I'm tier 1, so it's hard because it's kind of like a lot of people are new. Like a lot of people don't know anything. A lot of people don't even have a plumbing job yet.
Really?
Like there is like
I forgot you could do that.
Like 3 people that like don't even have a job yet.
They're just in tier 1.
They're in tier 1 because I mean, might as well be. Like,
yeah, I guess.
I mean, you got to get the work hours, but still, like, you might as well get the school hours. You can always make up the work hours.
So we couldn't do that. You guys are on the 4-year program where you can take tier 1 and 2 and they lowered the work hours way down.
Mm-hmm.
When I got my license, it was 5 years of school. You had to do it in 5 years. It was not 4 years. It was 5.
Yeah.
1 tier per year.
Yeah.
That's it. And then it was 8,600 working hours. Now it's 6,800.
68?
65?
I thought it was 62.
Okay, so there you go.
I think.
So it went from 86 to 62.
I don't even know. I think it's 1,100.
17.
Yeah.
1,700 a year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's that?
I don't actually know. Quick math. What is it, 4?
Yeah, 4 years.
68. Yeah, I was right.
Okay.
So we had to do 85. You guys have to do 68.
Even still, that's like a lot less.
Yeah, it's a whole year's worth of work less.
Yeah.
You can get your license faster. When we were doing it, it was grueling. And then to get your master's, you had to go and work another year. So now you're up to over 10,000 hours at that point.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know, I think 5 years is kind of crazy. 5 years is crazy because that's longer than college. That's longer than high school. That's a long time. But you guys couldn't you take tier 1 and tier 2 in high school? Jared did.
Oh, yeah.
And
we
Kyle
could.
Did, I believe.
I had tier 1, 2, and 3 completed.
By the end of high school.
By the end of high school, but the catch was you only got 1 year of work hours.
Because of co-op.
Right. That's it. So I still had to play catch up. I ended up with an extra 2 years of school.
Wouldn't you rather play catch up than go to school for like the whole time?
Yes and no. And the reason why I would say more no is because when I went to tech school, I came out of tech school and I thought I knew fucking everything because I went to tech school.
And you didn't know shit.
I got my ass handed to me year over year, continuously.
Because it's different when you're in the actual field.
It's way different. And that's why, if you've ever noticed, when we bring people on,
we'd rather them know nothing.
Know nothing.
You think you're a smartass if you're right out of high school.
Yeah, that's why we don't hire. I mean, how many people do we have right now that went to a tech school? We have 2. One of them just got their license. We have 2 people.
2.
That's it.
Yeah.
Everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, 2.
Everybody else came from different positions, came from different walks of life. And it's just, the reality is, I've had so many kids that I've interviewed for a position like yours where I sit down, they think they know everything. I start to, I wait and I'll let them talk. And then when they're done talking, I'll just throw the book at them and be like, all right, what's the minimum clearance for a 3-inch clean out? And they go, you know what I mean? So it's like, I just rather not deal with the attitude because every kid, and I don't know what it is, but for some reason, every kid that comes out of HVAC and plumbing, I shouldn't say every, I'd say most, 95% of every kids that come out of these trade schools have a huge fucking chip on their shoulder right out of the gate.
Yeah, because they think they're better than everybody else.
I did for a long time. I
just spent 4 years in school. You know nothing.
Right.
But you spent 4 years in school doing the same thing in a 4x4 box.
Exactly.
Not in someone's house.
And that's the reality
where
of it.
Where you could flood someo's house,
right.
where you could create
you have to actually pay
attention
attention, and you actually have to really be meticulous about your job. When I was in the plumbing shop, I can tell you for a fact, there were plenty of days where we did not do anything.
Yeah, me too.
We sat around, we smoked cigs outside, we threw solder into the fucking ceiling, and just sat there. Okay, that's literally what we did. It was different. 10 years makes a big difference, trust me.
We definitely didn't do that.
When I was there and I graduated, dude, they were letting it fly still. It was, I swear to God, being in high school, it was like the 80s. Like, it was the craziest thing. We got away with the most wild shit. Like, you didn't get written up unless you really did something dumb. Like, you had to go out of your way. Otherwise, it didn't matter. Nobody cared. Like, the teachers were cool. I just feel like, I don't know, maybe my graduating class was not, there was less degenerates, so it wasn't as bad. But regardless, everybody still had a fucking giant chip on their shoulder when they graduated. Everybody thought they were the king. But yeah, no, it was definitely, for me, it was a very humbling experience because I ended up going to the union and I was working with guys that were like, on the plumbing side of things, high level.
Yeah.
Like high level, like
they actually
understanding like the infrastructure side of plumbing and being able to say, like, looking at a building that's just I-beams and steel girders and going, yep, we're going to plumb this whole thing and I know exactly how to do it.
Yeah.
And that was before, so they have now, and you'll probably hear some of the kids in your class talk about it depending on what companies they work for. A lot of companies prefabricate shit now. So
I don't know.
Yeah, you'll hear about it at some point during your whole school career, but there's a lot of companies out there that, like, they'll get a commercial bathroom brought in on a skid.
That's crazy.
And they just connect a couple of lines. They'll connect like the cold and hot water, they'll connect the vent, and they'll connect the waste.
That's literally crazy to even think about.
It's like Legos.
Yeah, like you build it and then you move it.
Yeah, that's what they do now. But like when I started, they weren't doing that. We were building everything in place. We were learning how to do layout. We were laying everything out, marking the floor, drilling the floor, setting everything, running all the lines.
I feel like that's more useful, though.
Well, it is, but the problem is now everybody goes for speed because they want to make more money.
Yeah, and they want to get more done.
Exactly.
Faster.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't care about the efficiency.
No, they do. They care about the efficiency.
Sometimes.
That sliding that stuff into place is way more efficient than building it.
Why?
It takes a quarter of the time.
Well, yeah, it takes a quarter of the time, but like I'm talking about, like, if, like, I don't even know, like how long is that gonna last? It might not last as long as you building it by hand.
You're probably right, because they're gonna cut more corners, and I can absolutely tell you, like, like bolting that stuff to the floor.
That thing's not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, you're probably right about that. And with the speed comes less attention to detail.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're skipping past things.
Yeah, because you don't have to look at it because somebody else already did it for you.
Yes.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. I never thought about it that way, but
that's how everything is now, though. I feel like
true.
It's a lot of cut corners, and I don't know.
And that's why we try to bring everybody that works with us back to the basics and not cut corners and try to do it right. You know, and you see it all the time and you hear about it all the time when we're in the office. We're talking about, oh, we lost that job because X, Y, and Z. And then we get called back to that job after it's done.
Someone does it cheaper. Someone does it faster.
Right. And then they call us in and go, hey, this other guy installed it, but we wanted to call you guys back because it seemed like you knew what you were doing.
And we want you to maintenance it.
Or we want to know why it's not working.
Yeah.
That was the most recent call that we got.
What about the maintenance thing?
No, we got a call. So there was a woman in Winchester that we did a job, or that we did a quote for. Dave did a quote for. And Jeff went out there and goes, hey, we did a quote for you. Like, what happened here? And there was some guy from New Hampshire that came down. Mm-hmm. He installed an Navian boiler and an Navian water heater, and he did the boiler completely wrong. He spray painted the pumps to make them look new.
Oh, that's...
Yeah. That's
just sketchy.
Well, like I said, like you just said, cutting corners. There's plenty of people that do that right now, but we try to teach it the right way.
Yeah, but then that stuff wasn't working, and then she had to call a second person out to fix it.
Right, and now we're going to give her more money. We're going to give her a monstrous quote to try to redo everything.
Yeah, because there's no way to fix it other than
redo it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But that's why we try to teach you guys. Like, I don't care what it costs. I want to make sure it's done right.
Yeah. I mean, that's more important.
Yeah. But not everybody sees it that way now. Not every company operates like we operate. So
yeah, not at all.
No. So school's good. We like the work. We don't like setting toilets because we can't. It's clean.
It's pretty clean.
It's pretty clean.
Yeah.
We like that. We like that part of it. What part of the trade are you looking forward to learning about at this point? And don't say everything, because everything is such
that'd be a lie.
Yeah. Everything is such a fake answer. When somebody says everything, I say, well, maybe you shouldn't be doing this.
No, I would say like more bathroom roughs and finishes.
Okay.
Because same thing with like helping people. I like to see like a before and after.
Yeah.
So like I did one bathroom rough.
Yep.
And had no clue what was going on because I couldn't see anything. They're telling me the toilet's going to be there. I don't see a toilet.
Yeah, you don't see a toilet. You don't even understand the piping that goes to it.
Exactly. And I don't even, there's no walls. I was like, the whole house is ripped out. I'm like, I don't even know where anything's going. And, oh, sorry, that's my grandma.
Hi, Grandma.
So I'm like, I don't even know like what's going on. And then I saw it done and I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool.
How did that happen?
And then like we haven't done the finish yet, but like when we see the finish, I'll be like, oh my God, now I can actually see what they were talking about. Yeah, you put two and two together. Yeah. So I would like to learn more of that. And there's a lot of like, not rules, but like you got to follow the code.
No, there's a lot of rules.
There's a lot of rules like that stuff. And that's a big thing with school is learning all about the code book. Yeah. And with things like that, there's a lot of things you have to follow the code by that didn't even cross my mind for 1 second. But every single other person that was there, all the journeymen, they were like, oh no, we can't do that because of this. Yeah. Or X, Y, and Z. And I was like, okay, sure, whatever you say.
And that's why when people... I like that you want to learn that and you understand the responsibility behind making sure that you do it the right way, because there's so many people that discount what we do as plumbers specifically or tradesmen, and they're like, oh, you should only be getting paid $20 an hour. You're just a fucking plumber. I hate when people say that. When people go, that's actually probably the one thing that burns my ass the most in this business is when people try to discount what we do, because they don't understand at the end of the day, you go to school and all the work that you do and time that you put into learning the business properly and learning the trade properly, you could go be a fucking doctor in the same amount of time.
Yeah, they
don't understand that.
When I tell people I go to school for plumbing,
they're like, why? Yeah, they don't get that part of it.
But just like me, when I first started here, I thought I was going to be just unclogging toilets.
Right.
Like, why would I need to go to school for that?
Yeah.
And they don't see the things behind it, which I didn't see at the beginning either.
Yeah.
But then like once now I'm in it, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much behind it.
There's so much to it. And that's why when people get pissed that we charge, whatever it is, $300 and something an hour to get two guys in the door. Well, there's a lot of value in those two guys that are coming through your door. People don't understand that, and that is my biggest pet peeve is you guys work, just like I did before you guys work so hard to get your licenses and you really understand what you're doing, and then people sit there and they bitch and complain. Nobody ever complained about how much a doctor charged.
Yeah.
But they complain about what we do.
Because they can save your life.
We can too. We're on the other end of that.
I know. It's just
people don't see that.
People will never understand that though.
You probably, they would in a world where we have like total failure.
Yeah.
Like if we had an absolute catastrophic meltdown, civil war, crazy bullshit type of situation, and people start getting sick because we're not removing wastewater properly, then all of a sudden our value goes through the roof.
Yeah, then we're going to be worth a whole lot more than they're complaining about right now.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And that's definitely my biggest pet peeve is we work really hard to get to where we have to be to get our licenses and understand what you're doing. That's the biggest thing. And
it's literally just like a degree.
It is.
Like a license is a degree. Like I was thinking that like I'm going to school, but I'm also applying my schoolwork to actual work.
Yeah.
when I was in college, I was still working, but like
not doing what you're going to college for.
Not
right?
doing what I was going to college for, but half the people I went to more than half the people I went to college for didn't have a job.
Right.
So they're just going to school.
Right.
I'm doing two things and I'm getting a license out of it. They're just getting a degree. They have to then find a job afterwards.
And then learn how to do the job and apply their degree towards their job,
exactly,
which in a lot of
cases, can't do.
But in a lot of cases, the job that they go get,
their degree has nothing to do with.
It holds no weight at all. Unless you're a doctor or a lawyer or something in a very professional field, you're never going to find that. Our field happens to be one of those fields where everything you learn directly applies, and you're going to use everything you learn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and people will never understand that.
People don't understand it until they're in it. And
yeah.
Because I can definitely say I didn't understand it until I was in it.
Yeah, you didn't understand the time. You didn't understand what was involved.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother world that you get exposed to, and you're like, oh my God, this is a lot.
Yep.
This is a lot. And it's crazy, too, because the book that we study covers plumbing and gas, right?
Yeah.
And you probably haven't even dove into the gas side of things yet, which is bananas.
No, I haven't.
Once you dive into that, your whole world is going to change because it just gets crazy.
Yeah, there's so many little things that
there's so many rules.
I'm like,
so
my
many
head
rules.
is gonna explode.
Yep. And when you have to sit down and you have to know that you have to have that entire book memorized when you go into the test and you can't look at it during the test, that's when shit gets real.
Yeah, that's scary. I'm scared just thinking about it.
I mean, I would say a good amount of people pass on their first try or second try. But
I've heard that a lot of people don't pass on their first time.
Everybody that works with us, I believe, has passed first or second.
You passed on your first time?
Oh, yeah. I passed on my journeyman's first, my master's, and then my New Hampshire gas and plumbing. First shot.
I don't want to say I don't think I will.
Are you a good test taker?
No, that's
okay,
my
so
thing.
that's where you're going to have a problem. I am a good test taker. I can sit there and get a 60 even if I have no idea what the fuck I'm looking at.
Yeah, like I could know the entire book, every single page, everything about it, but go to take the test and I'm shitting the bed.
Oh.
Because I just I get overwhelmed very easily, and it's like I can see that there's 99 other questions and that's all I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about the question that I'm on.
The only thing that's going to benefit you when you go to take your test is you're going to look at the question, you're going to read the question, and then you're going to think back to a job that you did and go, oh, fuck, I remember I did this job, and this is the answer.
That's what my teacher told me.
Yep, that's exactly how it works. He said
when you're taking the test, you think of jobs.
Yep.
You don't, he praises the code book, which great, but he was like, even me knowing the code book front to back, I would think back on jobs and establish them with jobs and think, what did I do in this job? And then what was the outcome? And that's your answer.
That's part of having that working experience. That's why there's so much value in that.
That's why they're adamant on having the work hours
that
you need.
Well, and if you in a larger and more, I mean, I guess you could really screw something up wherever you wanted to, but when you apply what you learn, it's very important that you know what the hell you're doing because it's very easy to make somebody sick. Very easy. And people don't think about that. Like, oh, I left a hose in the bucket outside that has detergent in it to clean my car, and there's no check valve, there's no backflow preventer on that hose.
Your detergent's going right into
your detergent's going right into your house. Nobody thinks about that. I guarantee anybody that watches this that's not a plumber, that doesn't understand it, is going to go, holy shit, I didn't know that could happen.
Yeah, now they're going to go check their hose.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, no, it's there's definitely a lot of value in what we do, and it is not something to be taken lightly.
Yeah,
for
sure.
We're pipe doctors. That's it. We are doctors. Nonetheless.
That's a crazy statement.
Okay.
I've never heard anybody say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Ask anybody and be like, are we like pipe doctors? And they'll say yes.
I'm going to start calling myself that.
Yeah, I'm a pipe doctor. That's it.
People ask what I do. I'm going to say I'm a pipe doctor.
Yep. You just say, oh, you have a sick pipe? Does it look like this? Okay, good. I can cut it out and replace it for you for $1 billion.
It's crazy.
Oh, that's good, though. I'm glad that you're enjoying the experience, and I'm glad that you came on here today to talk about your experience and how you like it and just going over all the different aspects of it, because it is a lot. to jump in feet first into this trade and not have any understanding of what the fuck you're doing, it's a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
it's way more than jumping into a restaurant and being a server or jumping into any sort of service industry. Like, this is very much more involved. But you definitely took the bull by the horns, so good for you.
Thanks.
You're doing a great job.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching today. I appreciate it. And join us next week for the next episode of Griff Guide Podcast. Thank you.